You're watching TAG TV.
150 years ago, famed author Mark Twain visited the Holy Land and wrote, "It was a desolate country and a silent and mournful expanse."
He talks about up in the Jezreel Valley, he talks about how that you can travel in 10 miles in any direction and not see a single person. And so one of the towns that we did some photography was of a small town of Afula, which is really off the map as far as many Westerners are concerned, but it was established in the early 1900s. So 50, 60 years after Mark Twain, there's a small Jewish settlement. Today it's a booming Israeli city that we've been able to match some side-by-side perfect photography with it.
Doug Hershey and his team chose 200 photographs of Israel from the 1880s to the 1940s. In his new book, Israel Rising, The Land of Israel Reawakens, Hershey chronicles the changes from that time span until today.
That's been part of the joy. I mean, we have these old photos of Tel Aviv of less than 100 years ago, of shacks on sand dunes with camel caravans on the beach, and to compare it from the exact same angle today, it's just stunning.
The book follows Ezekiel's promise, where in chapter 36, verse 8, the prophet declared, "But you, O mountains of Israel, you shall shoot forth your branches and yield your fruit to my people Israel, for they are about to come."
We think of prophecy being to kings or to people or nations, but he's prophesying to the land that when Israel returns as a nation, branches will put forth fruit, waste cities will be rebuilt, the people and beasts will be multiplied on the land will be cultivated and sown.
These side-by-side photos show the transformations. Here's Jerusalem near the King David Hotel in the 1930s, and the same view today. This is the Hebrew University campus in 1925, and what it looks like now. From the north in Haifa to the south in Beersheba, Hershey says the pictures represent the prophet's words coming alive.
We're living in a really profound time in history. We're living in a time where 2,700-year-old prophecies from Isaiah and Ezekiel and Jeremiah, they've been lying dormant for about that long, and many of them are coming to pass. The most repeated promise through the scriptures is that God will bring his people back to the land, and when they do, there's going to be these dramatic changes, and we're seeing those.
Hershey says the land itself seemed to be waiting for its ancient people to return.
To me, it's one of the most profound things here, is this land has been conquered 15, 20 different times. It never becomes a homeland for any other people group, and the land would never produce for any other people group. And Israel moves back in, and suddenly the vast desert wastelands are now producing flowers, they're producing fruit. Isaiah 27 talks about how that when Israel returns, Jacob will take root and fill the earth with fruit. And for many centuries, believers would read that and look at that as allegorical or spiritual, and we're finding today it's very literal. It's happening right now.
Hershey says the book provides a visual opportunity for those who have never visited Israel, and it's also struck a chord with the younger generations.
Most millennials are ready for something real. They want to see something practical. It's as far as much of perhaps theological Christianity that they've been raised on, more ideas. They're ready for something solid. They're ready for something real. And so even now when I speak in the States, sometimes I'll have questions about theology or they'll questions about the land, and usually my answer revolves around, let me show you. Come with me to Israel, I'll show you myself.
As Israel celebrates its 70th anniversary, Hershey sees Israel as a miracle.
Absolutely. I mean, Israel is the time clock, as many people have heard and have said, and I believe that as well. I mean, there's so much that is happening here in a very short amount of time. To me, it's one of the most profound miracles of our day.
Chris Mitchell, CBN News, Jerusalem.
This is what happens when fashion meets technology. Meet Zanit Peleg. Zanit is the first person in the world to create an entire fashion line using only an at-home 3D printer.
So that's the first garment I ever printed in 3D.
This is so awesome.
And that's a dress I presented at the opening ceremony of the Paralympics Games.
The Olympics. Zanit's TED Talk had over 1.6 million views. What do we see here?
That's a part of a shoe. I can play with the size of it, with the density of the material. Basically, your imagination is the only limitation you have with these technologies. You could be part of the design. And then I can email you this pair of shoes.
And then I could just print them from home.
Exactly. My inspiration for the patterns of my style basically started with the traditional lace, and I just tried to combine the innovative technology into it.
Looks like downloadable printable clothing is closer to your closet than you think. Meet Aiden Sajon. Aiden creates gorgeous lace pieces using a 3D sculpting pen. Ta-da! Wow, stunning! Since all her pieces are handmade, they are truly one of a kind.
This is created by the 3D pen, 100% handmade.
So you can create a bunch of these and come out with something like this.
There's a lot of colors to put inside the pen. And then when the light is blue, you can start drawing.
I'm creating fashion right now, just using this pen. Aiden's innovative garments were showcased most recently at New York Fashion Tech Week and New York Textile Month.
I think this will be totally part of the future of fashion.
Did you know that there's a machine that turns air into water and that there's technology that allows cars to drive on their own? I didn't either. But right here are 7 amazing Israeli inventions that will change lives forever. This incredible invention uses artificial intelligence and a smart camera to help the blind discover the world around them. I'm not blind, but if I was blind, I'd be like, whoa! Gosh, I'm thirsty, but the sink is all the way over there. If only there was a machine that could create water out of thin air. Wait a minute. Introducing WaterGen, an amazing new machine. Groundbreaking technology. It turns air into water. Air into water. Pulse and more. This miraculous handheld device lets women take ultrasounds on their cell phones and then mail them to their doctors. Congratulations, it's a pizza. This wouldn't have happened if you had Mobileye. Mobileye is a vision-based advanced driver assistance system that helps prevent car accidents, and it's the main technology behind autonomous cars. But real autonomous cars, not like this one. This is a toy. Clone. Clone is an app that will instantly 3D scan anything you want. Now Rexy will live forever.
He's a good boy. He's right.
Bonus BioGroup. This Israeli biotech company actually grows bones from a patient's own cells. This here is a femur that belongs to Fred. It's Fred's femur. Flytrex is an autonomous, regulated, and insured drone that will deliver things to you anytime, anywhere, any minute now. That's it for now from Sosa, one of the many innovative open platforms here in Israel. If you care, share.
You're watching TAG TV.